Hey guys, it's Deondra from Children's Theater and Books Alive for Kids to help you with the training for this next BASE program, Books Alive Student Entertainment. That's what we call it, the BASE program. And for this book, Snowy Day, we're going to take the kids on a journey. The whole focus of Snowy Day's workshop or performance that we're going to do is to talk about differences. So the kids will get an opportunity to create snowflakes and see how every snowflake is different. The journey will be facilitated by the teachers. The first thing on the first day, what you could do is read the book and follow the same sequence as we did with Will You Be My Friend by Eric Carle. We have those 5 tools of an actor that we focus on, right? The first day is our voice, so we deal with the words. The second day is our body. So we're going to use some music and we're going to physicalize things that we're doing within the show. The third day is the imaginative day, where we're looking at the props and costumes and the things like that. On the fourth day, we're going to focus in on all that we've done and reflect over what it is that we've done over the past 3 days up to that 4th day. And then on the 5th day, you have your final presentations, dress rehearsal. With those 5 tools of the actor, on the first day, once again, you'll read the book and reiterate what's going on in the story. The teacher or the facilitator will then talk about the 4 locations that you'll visit. The first day will be the park, where you'll meet Mr. Snowman. The teacher will portray Mr. Snowman. On the second day, we'll go to the woods, where we'll meet Mr. Moose. On the third day, we'll meet Mr. Walrus. And on the 4th day, that's when we go to the snow hill and find out actually that there are no snowflakes that are actually the same. All snowflakes are different, like all people are different, and we'll talk about those differences and celebrate those differences. Each of the characters that we meet along the way, facilitated by the teacher, whether Mr. Moose, he'll have a snowflake that's a little different than everybody else's. Then, on the second day, when we meet Mr. Walrus, he'll have a snowflake. It looks a little bit different than everybody's. And when we get to Snow Hill, we'll see a hill filled with snowflakes, and all those snowflakes will be different. So that's our first day. There'll be some special tips also in your packet that you can look at on page 6 of other things that you can do. You might be able to make some cue cards of the locations that you'll visit to explain what those places will look like. What kinds of things will we see in a park when we meet Mr. Snowman? What kinds of things do we see in the woods? What will we feel in the woods when it's snowy outside? What kind of activities do we do in the winter time? Will we make snow angels like they did in the book? All kinds of things that you can do on that first day as you go over what your performance will look like at the end. Day 2 of your rehearsal, you'll look at that music piece and the movement piece because of body. We're going to take Vivaldi's The 4 Seasons, which my friend here is going to play for us just for a second so you can hear, if you haven't already heard, Vivaldi's The 4 Seasons. Let's listen to one of the movements of The 4 Seasons. So The 4 Seasons is divided into 4 different movements. Each movement represents a different season. You can have the kids dance and just listen and explore the difference in the sounds of the 4 different movements of the 4 seasons and how they associate with the different seasons. In addition to that, you'll have your season cards in your packet. During this time, the kids can color and we can associate the season with specific colors, and they can move as we cut these out and dance, holding up when we listen and identify which of the movements are which season. That's one activity that you can do with the movement day and the body day. Another tip that you can have on page 6 you'll see is holding up the images of your students while they are performing the dances, holding up those cards that they made. Then we move on to day 3, and we have Mr. James, who you guys know. He's going to share with you on that day of imagination some things that you can do.
Thank you, Mr. Deondra. Hey everybody, I'm James and I also work for the Children's Theater of Cincinnati. So we are working on the third day with costumes and props. And Books Alive has supplied us with amazing tools, but we have to bring some things to the table as well. So the first character that we meet is Mr. Snowman. And today, Mr. Deondra walked into the studio and he had his own hat and his own scarf. So that's what we'll be doing as well. We'll wear our own hat, maybe, and our own scarf, okay? And then we're Mr. Snowman so we can tell our first part of the journey. This would be your own hat that you would bring to the class with your own scarf because it's cold in the wintertime. Or if you want to borrow a scarf or a hat from one of your students, I think that would be very entertaining as well to the kids. Like I said, Books Alive has supplied us with an amazing tool, this kind of changing station or backdrop. And this is used for the teacher who's playing all these characters to kind of not break the facade of this whole journey. So when you're done with one character, as you're taking off your snowman and you disappear behind this, you would switch to your next character, Mr. Moose, and come up from behind this, backdrop as your other character. Now, Mr. Moose is a very simple but effective costume. This is just a headband made out of paper. We have colorful bright paper, but if you have just plain white paper, that's fine as well. So, once you get your ring cut out of your paper and tape it in the back, fit it to your head, put some pipe cleaners on, easy as that, you can become Mr. Moose. And Mr. Moose is kind of a country home guy. He likes to just stay in the woods and chop his wood. He's kind of southern. He's kind of got a slow talking drawl to his voice. And you can play around with that however you like. But that's another easy and simple and effective costume. Our last character that we meet is Mr. Walrus. And this is the final thing that you would have to bring from your own, box at home, is this sock. And yes, it is my sock. So we would slip on this sock to our hand because it's just a simple hand puppet. And with taking one popsicle stick and just breaking it in half, gluing or taping it to the inside of the sock, adding just 2 googly eyes, you now have Mr. Walrus, who is kind of a British general person. He's very much in charge of everybody. And if you can't do, that kind of low, old man British, then maybe you can do an upper British voice. And then you become Mr. Walrus like that. And that is our 3 very different and specific characters that you will be seeing throughout this journey as we take on our very snowy day. Mr. Deondra?
Yeah, thanks, James. This backdrop, you can design any way that you want to. You can put other things that you've done throughout the year about the season on your backdrop. You can put the title of the book. You can put whatever title of the performance that you like to call it right on the back of this backdrop and use this in your classroom to be just extra decor. On day 4, we look at Reflection Day, right? Out of the 5 tools of the actor, day 4 is very, very important to focus all of the children's energy back into what it is that we've been doing over the course of the past 3 days. From day 1, reading the script. From day 2, using our bodies with movement to explore different seasons and identifying specifically about winter. And then on day 3, like Mr. James told us, about the creativity of using voices and using costumes and props to share what it is that you're doing. Again, on each of those days of the journey, each of those characters that we meet, they'll have a snowflake as well. Each snowflake is different, and we're building up to realize that all snowflakes are different and how all people are different, and celebrating the differences that we have within ourselves. So day 4 is that reflection day where you can ask the kids, what did you like about what we've been doing so far with this program? You can also ask, what didn't you like about what it is that we've done with this program? That's day 4. Then, coming into day 5 is our final dress rehearsal, where you can put all the pieces together, where as the teacher or the facilitator of the activity, you take the kids to each place in your room that you have identified as the locations. So one place is the park, where we meet Mr. Snowman. The next place is the woods, where we meet Mr. Moose. The next place is the frozen lake, where we meet Mr. Walrus. And then at the end, we have Snow Hill. So in addition to all of the things that we've shared with you, you can come up with your own ideas and where in your room you'd like these locations to be, so that the The kids can travel from station to station. And they always love to see how their room can transform, where they use their imagination and they use the suspension of belief to believe that they're in these locations that you created. Whether it's a blue sheet for the frozen lake, or whether it's a piece of white felt for the frozen hill, or if you have something that's green, a plant that's in your room, you can use that for the forest or the woods. And that's it. I think you'll have a good time. If you guys have any questions about what it is that you're doing with it, always feel free to call Books Alive for Kids, Learning Through Art. Talk to Nina, talk to Kathy. You can call me at the Children's Theater of Cincinnati, and I'll put you on with James. No, James and I will talk to you guys, and we can make sure that you can execute and have a great time. And I know we always talked about Mr. Moose and Mr. Walrus, and a lot of you ladies are like, hey, I'm a lady. So it can be Miss Moose and Miss Walrus if you want, or if you like to play another kind of character and be Mr. Moose, that's your choice as well. Once again, got any questions? Let me know. Thanks. We'll see you again.